Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Essential Sports Pod. Today, welcome back to episode 11. Uh, we Today we just wanted to highlight some problems in the organization, maybe this year, this team, um, and some things we wanted to talk about, and maybe make some changes, maybe call some people. We'll see how this episode goes. So.
Right.
Unfortunately, Addison will not be with us today, um, so it'll be just Gerald and I.
Yeah, that man's working hard though.
He is. So that's how life goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, let's get right into it. First thing I want to throw out there is what is the problem with the Cardinals? What is it? Who knows? Nobody knows the answer to
Right.
that anymore. It's been a long season. We're not even halfway through the season, and it feels like it's been a long season.
Yeah,
Go for
I
it.
would say the problem with the Cardinals, you can't really pinpoint it. Some days the offense will be good and then the pitching will go bad and then vice versa. Or maybe the manager is saying some things about a player or the front office is coming out and saying things. So, there's been a lot of things that's happened this season and you can't really pinpoint it, but it's kind of unfortunate to see as a fan um, how bad we have been doing. We are like I think we're the third worst team in the NL right now. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. We're right.
Yeah. So
Athletics and the Royals, but then the St. Louis Cardinals.
yeah. So it's just been kind of rough overall, and we have the talent. It's just it just hasn't came together this year. What you think, Frank?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different moving parts and a lot of different people that can get the blame, but I don't think it's directly on one person.
Hmm.
It's a team sport. Every team sport has multiple problems in it. If they're not doing good, it's not just one person. Um, and I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I see everybody saying that we got to get rid of the manager, Ollie, get rid of him, get rid of Mo. He hasn't done anything, but like last year we went to the playoffs and unfortunately we didn't perform, but that's not on our manager. Maybe he made some bad choices at times, but maybe the offense could have gotten a few more hits. Maybe we could have driven a few more guys. And then with Mo, he's put us in a position to compete. Like we think we have a good team to compete, and that's because of Mo. Like I get I get we want more, everybody wants more, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think those are all fair points for sure. For me, I've been a baseball fan for all my life, and probably most importantly a Cardinals fan. And you know, usually when I think of winning managers and the Cardinals, like best seasons and seasons where we've won, well, first I would like to think that like the best seasons that we've had, we've always had down points in those seasons. Like in 2011 when we won the championship. I don't think we started the year very good. I don't even think we were supposed to be in the playoffs. So, we kind of have those type, the Cardinals magic type of way. But, in my opinion, what I think is like everyone around us is getting better with like the Brewers and the Pirates and the Reds. And I think maybe we got a little bit too complacent with underestimating how good and challenging they would be, and also with the fact that we're going to be competing against a lot of new people this season because of new schedule, and then a whole bunch of new rules, and then Yachty leaves and Pujols leaves. So, we just have a lot of different scenarios versus last year, and I think it's coming back to bite us just a little bit.
Yeah, with all these things, I do want to throw some stats out there, some numbers. Um, the Cardinals this year, their record in one-run games is 6-15. We have 13 blown saves opportunities in 2023. In our last 10, we're 3-7. We have in
Mhm.
the month of June, it is a small sample size, but we're hitting 210. That's our average as a team in 6 games, and we're 1-5. Um, and we're 1-5 because I mean our pitching in June, it is only 6 games, but it's Cardinals pitching, and we have a 3.47 ERA in 6 games, and that's pretty good.
Mhm.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good. With how our pitching has looked, I feel like that record should be flipped. With our
right.
it just seems like we keep putting the same lineup out there. And another stat is that, the pitching has a 3.47 ERA, but our offense in June is scoring 2.8 runs per game.
Yeah. So pretty much on average, we maybe scored two, maybe 3 runs, and then the pitching gives up three, maybe four. So you know, we're there's a lot of things to like with how the pitching looks, but you know, with the offense and things of that sort, it's just like I see our lineup before the game starts, and I'm like, well, the offense has been struggling recently, so why is certain players still in the same spots, or why is a struggling player hitting above a player that's not struggling as much? Or even like we bring up Luke and Baker, uh, and I know he's only a first baseman or DH, so it's kind of hard to get him in the lineup with Goldie and that sort, but he's one of the best bats we could have right now, and he hasn't gotten that much playing time up here. So, you know, like you said, it's not one person to blame for the failures, but I'm kind of looking at Ali. I'm like, hey, our lineups probably should be a little bit different if the offense isn't getting the results.
No, I totally agree. I think some changes need to be made to this lineup. We got
Mhm.
some guys that got brought up and seemed like they just got brought up to hang out on the bench, like Luke and Baker,
Mhm.
Oscar Mercado, Tres Barrera got called up for a good while, and I think he got like 5, 6 at bats, or maybe not even that.
I
Um,
think he had three,
yeah, not even
two or
that.
three.
Jordan
Yeah.
Walker gets called up and then he gets sent down when he's supposed to be our guy. Like, I get he's
Mhm.
young, but like, you gotta play him, man. These young guys, you have to play them. Like, it's not, I get he's not gonna perform and he's not gonna hit 40 home runs and get 120 RBIs his first season, but man, like, we gotta play these guys.
Yeah.
It's hard to like bring these guys up and then not see them play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And friend, I know you've been kind of watching the games recently lately. The last game that we had where we won 1-0 against John Gray and the Texans, which I said the Texans, the Rangers, which that was a good game. But I think Jim Edmonds was on the in the booth talking about how the Cardinals send Jordan Walker down and they want him to work on things like hitting the ball in the air and stuff like that. They're like he's saying like don't put it in his head to try to hit the ball in the air. Like he's a good player, so the results will come. And I think it's funny because as he was saying that, Jordan Walker was at the plate and he hit a 430-foot home run, like at the same time. So it's just kind of some things that I disagree with as far as like you know I don't think Jordan Walker should have got sent down. Um, and some other things that have happened this season that I disagree with. But yeah, it's just tough right now because we expect to put the results out there on the field because the offense is so good and the pitching is finally cooking, but the results haven't happened.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I like Jordan Walker is Jordan Walker. Like he's a professional hitter. He's gonna hit the ball hard, and even if it's on the ground, like we've seen it time and time again, he hits it hard on the ground, and it just gets past people's glove because it's hit so hard. Like uh,
Yeah,
I get he doesn't, he has to hit it in the air, and obviously if he hits it in the air, it's going to be a double or a home run every time because that's just how hard he hits it. But,
Right.
you can't, like you said, and like how Jim Edmonds said, like, you can't force this guy to try and hit it up in the air because then it's gonna mess up his
Right.
approach, I feel like, because he
Right.
to this point with him just trying to hit the ball. Like, I bet he's not up there saying to himself, all right, hit it up, hit it up, hit it up. Like, he's just trying to hit the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, and even then, if you put it in your head to hit it in the air, that probably will put you in a slump as a hitter, and especially as a young man. He just turned 21. So, he's still very young, still learning MLB pitching, and he was faring pretty well. But you know, they want him to go down and retool his swing, why couldn't these things be said in spring training? You know, I feel like if they have all the stats and data on his swing, they should know. Like maybe he shouldn't start in the MLB because he needs to work on his swing. Or if you notice it late, don't send him down. Not everyone needs to hit the ball in the air. Like think about what Luis Ariz is doing this year. He's hitting 400 and he doesn't hit home runs. He just hits line drive like all the time. So, you can still have success even if you don't hit it in the air, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. With some different things, I think we both can agree that some changes need to be made at least to this lineup that we put out there offensively. We see Wilson Contreras, who's at the 5 hole every single game. I don't think he's
Hmm.
at all. If anything, he's been higher than that, and that's just not what you want to see. Um, we got Ivan Herrera, who just turned, I think it was last month, he just won the Player of the Month for the Cardinals. He
Hmm.
he's hitting 291 with a 400 on base percentage and 945 OPS. Like, he's doing really good. And we got
Hmm.
Contreras, who's I think right now he's hitting about 210, 220. And it feels like I have no confidence every time he's up there. I feel like he's just swinging, just a swing.
Yeah, based on what you're saying, yeah, I can understand that. I think Ivan Herrera was one of our top prospects in our system for a while, and then it kind of tailed off. But you know, seeing him put it together this year is pretty impressive, especially at the AAA level, which means he could possibly be ready for the MLB. But with us signing Contreras, he kind of gets blocked um, to make the roster. But also at the same time this year, we've had three catchers up at one time. So you know, if we want to do that, then go ahead and bring Herrera up. But uh, it's just I think Contreras will bounce back and like will be better, but just right now he hasn't been that guy, and Ali just won't move him down in the lineup, and I really disagree with that because you bring up Luke and Baker. I think he's a good potential person to be in that five spot, or Paul DeYoung or Tommy Edman. I know we talked about this yesterday, friend, but you know, there's multiple guys that can be in that spot and probably produce a little bit better than what Contreras has been doing.
No, yeah, we did talk about this, and Contreras needs to get moved down. Simple as that.
Yeah,
Even when he
yeah,
was on the Cubs, like it's not like the Cubs have had a super team, but Contreras,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure hit like 6 or 7 for him. Like he wasn't
yeah,
their third hitter or their fourth. Like, he wasn't their best hitter. He never was. But he's still a good hitter. But right now, that's not him, and he needs to get back to where he
right,
was. And I think the best way for him to do that is just to go lower in the lineup, have less pressure on him to bring the guys in who are at the 2 or 3 hole. Because Golding's gonna get on base, Donovan's gonna get on base, and then you get to Contreras, and he's just not driving them in. And Edman right now sitting at 20, 21 RBIs, and Contreras is sitting at 27, I'm pretty sure. And Edman has been at the nine hole all season. And you're telling me Edman
Right.
almost has the same amount of RBIs as him? Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think there was one point recently where I heard I think he was like 3 for his last 46, which I would say you probably get like 4 at bats per game, 3, 4. So that to me means over the past few weeks, he's just been bad, and Ollie just fails to move him down in the lineup, and it brings me some confusion as to what Ollie sees or like how he think he's gonna chain together or the team is gonna chain together some hits because you know if you have your 5 hole hitter as a guaranteed out, you know the 3 and 4 hitter they can't have guys that can bounce off of them, so that kind of like puts a gap in the lineup and like an easy out. So I'm a big fan of moving someone else into that spot. Luke and Baker especially because he's been crushing the minors. Fran, I know you have the stats. You have to say the stats that he's had, but yeah, he's been crushing it, man.
Yeah, I mean, before he got moved up, he played 54 games. He hit 313 with a 434 on base percentage. His OPS was
Hmm.
crazy, 1,075. And he
Yeah,
had 15 home runs with 53 RBIs, and he pretty much walked as much as he struck out. So for 40
right. And
walks,
he
3 strikeouts.
right, and he got the call up, and I really liked that because he's 26 years old, so he's mature. But he just hasn't had that time in the big leagues because of Goldie probably blocking him. But yeah, you see him go out there against the Pirates, and his debut he has 2 hits, and then he doesn't. I don't see him on the field since that pretty much. So like, it just makes me wonder like why is he getting called up? Like he's shown he's good. He's a big kid, 280 pounds. So if he hits the ball, it's gonna go a long way. So. It just makes me question what the philosophy of the team is right now.
Yeah, I don't really know how you can just wake up every day and just put the same lineup, same position where these guys are every day. And 2.8 runs per game, if that doesn't tell you. It's I think it's time to get some new names on the lineup. Try something different. Maybe I don't know, man. Something needs to change.
Yeah,
Burleson's playing every single day and he's struggling. Look, he won us the game yesterday, but oh my God. We let Gray pitch a whole game, a complete game, and I'm pretty sure he had
yeah,
101 pitches. Like, come on. And,
yeah,
Burleson hit a home run, thank God, because it did not look like we were going to win that game at all, especially against the Rangers, who have, I'm pretty sure they're the best offense in the league right now. And, you know, we got the
easily.
we got the young hitting so much lower than some of these guys like Burleson and Contreras, who, he's been struggling, but he's still hitting better than they are. He's got around the
Right.
same numbers with less games, and I don't know. I feel like some guys need to get moved up, some guys need to get put down, and maybe some new guys need to get on the lineup.
Yeah, man. It's tough to see, and I see what the national media says like about our team. Like everyone loves that the Cardinals are not doing good. Um, but I feel like the issues are kind of internal, and like we always know the Cardinals as a team that like keeps everything together, keeps everything in house and, you know, handles it internally. But, a lot of things just been coming out this season and players aren't performing like you expect and some guys are letting down expectations. So we definitely got a lot of work to do as a team overall.
Yeah, the Cardinals have lost their last 5 series, one of them including just a split series. I'm pretty sure it was against the Reds, who
Mhm.
we have here up next. We start on tomorrow because we are recording this on Thursday, the 8th. So tomorrow we do start a series against the Reds, who are pretty hot right now. They just brought up Ellie De La Cruz, who's just a monster. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And
He's crazy.
in the last five series, we've won a total of 5 games. 5 games in
Yeah,
the last 5 series, and two of them came against the Reds. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
And
So
that was still a split.
yeah, we
That
can't even
so
win.
yeah, so we've pretty much lost 4 series and split 1 series with, you know, the goal going into each series is to always come out with the win in the series. And once you string a lot of those together, then you're a winning baseball team. But that's just what we haven't been recently.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to say in this episode is my man Jordan Hicks. He has been performing, especially this last month.
Hmm.
He hasn't given up a run in the last month, and it doesn't seem like he's playing. I mean, yesterday he played against the Rangers and he shut him down. He went an inning. He pitched about 12 pitches, maybe 11, 12 pitches, and he got taken out. And I
Right.
personally think he could have gone another batter, maybe two. Um, and I don't know. You're putting Hicks out there, and then you're putting get Gio Gallegos after him, and it feels
Hmm.
like kind of a fresh breath of fresh air for the hitters when you're taking Hicks out and putting Gio in there, even though Gio has been good. But
Yeah.
Hicks has been our best pitcher this past month.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And having a guy like Jordan Hicks is so refreshing because you always know like if one guy is gonna bring it, it's gonna be Hicks with the type of stuff that he has. We even had him as a starter at one point, which I do kind of like the idea of that. Maybe, think about doing that Cardinals organization. But yeah, having him in the bullpen, he's gonna throw consistently 100 every time, and it's a sinker and it's gonna move. I feel like that should be a high leverage situation type of guy. And um, Geo and Helsley are very good, and Helsley's a dog. I know it's kind of been kind of rough at some points this year, but you can say that about everyone pretty much. So yeah, I love Jordan, and he's been great, and I just hope he gets more time because he deserves it, 100%.
Yeah, I do love the idea of him being a starter. Uh, you know, if something I loved about Jordan Hicks is that he's worked on his game. He's improved a lot. At the beginning of
Yeah.
the season, you could see he was not controlling the strike zone, and now it seems like he's throwing it exactly where he wants to throw it. And it's not like
Yeah.
he's making Contreras jump out of his knees just to try and get the ball. And he's not throwing it straight at the ground anymore. And it's great. And maybe not pump 102 every time as a starter, but maybe 97, 98. That's still
Hmm.
really good.
Right, and then that would bring an element to our starting rotation that, you know, Jack over his last few outings has been lights out. Michaelis has been great, and then Montgomery's been solid, but the offense hasn't really helped them out, unfortunately. But if you throw Hicks in there, all of a sudden you have 4 guys that I really like, and I I could say this a million times, and feel like I'm in my own fantasy world or whatever, but because I feel like this will never happen. But Jordan Hicks, he would be a great starter because he was that last season, and I think he got injured or something happened. But you know, if he's been our best pitcher, we have to rely on him. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wayno, it might just be time for him to just sit on the bench, man. Um, I don't know, just write. I'd be fine with him writing roster spot, but man, I
Yeah,
cannot see him pitch anymore. As much as I love him, as much as the Cardinal legend, he's just those are just freebies for the other team, man. And he hasn't even gotten past the
yeah.
second inning yet.
So okay, I have a question for you. So you know how like Wayno is known for like his curveball, right?
Yeah.
And like like how he throws it at the top of the strike zone sometimes. If we go to the Cincinnati field and he comes up against Ellie De La Cruz, how you gonna feel about that? If he just throws a curveball in there, how you gonna feel about
Man, De La Cruz is gonna turn on that thing
that?
455 into the river, and he is not even
Dude,
gonna look at it and make sure it goes out. Like, if he throws it, especially to the young guys, these young guys are not gonna go for a curveball up the top. Like, I don't know. I
yeah,
can't. As you said before on this podcast, I just hold my breath every time he pitches. You don't know.
yeah.
It's not gonna. He's pumping 89, man. 89. That's as
Mm,
high as he goes. And anybody is hitting that. Anybody who's a
hmm.
professional baseball player is hitting that.
Yeah. Times have changed. Teams have got better, and it's time for us to get better and adjust.
Yeah, something needs to change on this team. But yeah, that'll conclude this episode of the Essential Sports Pod. Thank you guys for coming back and listening to us. This was kind of a rant episode, just 'cause it's just been so frustrating lately, especially after the month of April, and then we got hot, and now it just seems like we're back to where we were, and
Yeah,
and it's not really back to where we were. It just flipped because it seems like the offense just can't do anything anymore. Um, but yeah, that'll conclude this episode. Thank you, Gerald, for coming with me again, um, and we'll see you guys next episode.
see ya.